Hello everyone, this is Professor Hitesh Mhatre of Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to learn about unit number 4, arrays and structure, and the topic is the basics of arrays. First we will start with the characteristics of an array. An array is defined as a collection of similar data of items stored in a contiguous memory location. Arrays are derived data types in C programming language, which can store the primitive data types such as integer, character, double, and float that we have already studied in the previous sections. It also has the capability to store the collection of derived data types such as pointers, structures, etc. So we can use arrays for pointers and structures as well. The array is the simplest data structure where each data element can be randomly accessed by its index number. Arrays in C is beneficial if you have to store the similar type of elements. For example, if we want to store the marks of a student of 6 subjects, then we do not need different types of variables. Like for 6 subjects, we require 6 variables. So if we are using an array, we can have only one variable of an array in which we can store the subject marks. So we can define an array which can store the marks in each subject as a contiguous memory location. By using the array, we can access the elements easily. Only a few lines of codes are required to access the elements. Next is the properties of an array. Each element of an array is of same data type and carries the same size. For example, if an array is of integer size, then each element size will be 4 bytes. Elements of an array are stored at the contiguous memory locations, where the first element is stored at the smallest memory location. So whenever you are storing an array, it will require a contiguous memory location, and in that memory location, the smallest location will store the first element. The elements of an array can be randomly accessed since we can calculate the address of each element of an array with the given base address and the size of data elements. So we can actually access any element in an array if we know the base address, that is the starting address of the memory location where the array is stored, and the size of data element. Like if we are storing integers, so we require 4 bytes. So accordingly we can calculate the element that is another random element, not necessary from the starting. So any random element can be accessed if you know the base address and the size of data element. Now advantages and disadvantages of using an array. So first we will see the advantage, that is code optimization. Since less code is required to access a data. Ease of traversing. By using the for loop, we can retrieve the elements of an array easily. Ease of sorting. To sort the elements of an array, we require a few lines of codes only. Random access. We can access any element randomly using the array. Now, what are the disadvantages of an array? It is a fixed size. Now, whatever the size we define at the time of declaration of an array cannot be changed. So it does not change its size dynamically, which is possible in linked list. So this is one of the disadvantage of using an array. The types of arrays. In C programming, we will learn two types of arrays, that is one-dimensional and two-dimensional. Conceptually, you can think of an one-dimensional array as a row where elements are stored in one after another. So we can see here, this is an example of an one-dimensional array where you can see it is a contiguous location, elements of for 6 elements. So like a row, it will be stored as a row. Then we have two-dimensional array. The simplest form of multi-dimensional array is the two-dimensional array. It can give you a feel like a matrix, see, or tabular form where it is divided into rows and columns. So here we can see row 0, row 1 and row 2. Similarly a column. So this is a 3 by 4 matrix. So two-dimensional. Now how you declare an array? So first we will start with the one-dimensional array. The syntax is data type, means what type of array you want, like integer, float, character, and so on. The name of the array and the size, because one dimensional, so we'll require only one size. This is the declaration. Say integer, this is a data type. Num, this is a variable name or array name, and size say 100. So this array will contain 100 elements of type integer. Similarly, we have float, temp, 20. So this temp variable will have an array which is of type float and it will hold up to 20 elements. Similarly for character. Moving to two-dimensional array, syntax is type, that is your data type, array name, and then the two values x and y for two dimension. So x indicates the number of rows, y indicates the number of columns. So here is a declaration considering the same variables that we have done in one dimensional, say integer number 10 and 15. Remember, whenever you are giving the size, we require a square brackets. So here it indicates that it is 10 rows and 15 columns. Similarly for float, it is 20 by 20. For character, it is 50 by 30. So these many elements, that is for num, 10 multiplied by 15 means 150 element can be stored in a number array, that is a two-dimensional array. Next, how you initialize the arrays. Now this is the declaration. So we have declared the size. Now we have to assign the values. So how you initialize? So starting with the one dimensional, there are two ways. Either you directly initialize like your size is 5 and then you specify the elements, that is specifying by equal to is used for initialization. Then in the curly braces you specify the values like here 10.0, 2.0, 3.4, 7.0 and 5.0. So 5 elements. Your size is also 5. So 5 elements. Similarly, here is another way, like same variable, but here I am not specifying the size. Instead, I am directly assigning. So this is also fine. Now what will happen, since we have not given here size, it will count the number of elements here and that size will be assigned to the balance. So here also we have 5. So these both the declaration are more or less similar. Then for two-dimensional, again here we can see number of rows 3, number of columns 4. So here also what we will do is use a curly braces. So for each row again we will make a set. So we require 3 rows, so each row will have 4 columns. So here, see here we can see here 0, 1, 2 and 3, total 4 elements, again enclosed in a curly braces. So this indicates this is an one row. Again separated by comma, again 4 elements, this is second row, comma, again 4 elements, this is third row. So 3 rows and 4 columns, so data is here. Another way is again writing the values without the braces. By default it will consider 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 elements as a first row, next 4 elements as a second row and next 4 elements as a third row. So these are the both way are correct and both the type initialization will give you the same result. So this is the initialization of one dimensional and two dimensional array. Now how you access an array? So like this is a variable salary equal to balance. Now you cannot access a whole of the array at once. You can access the element one by one. So here we can see balance of 3 means I am accessing a value that is at the index number 3 in the balance array. So that will be stored in the salary. So only one value will be stored here. For two dimensional, I have to specify the row number and column number. So the element at row number 2 and row number 3. So the element of array A will be stored in the value, that is the variable val, which is of type integer. Now example for one dimensional array. See, this is a simple program for one dimensional array where you are going to accept a value for an array and then you are going to display. So starting the header files, program starts with the main. This is by array declaration ARR of 5, so that indicates it is of size 5. One important point, whenever you assign the elements of array, the elements number start or the index number starts with a 0. Normally a number count starts with a 1. But whenever you are accessing an array, the memory location, it starts with the 0. So ARR of 0, then I am considering your variable I as a loop variable. So starting with a for loop for I equal to 0. Now these loops we have already covered in our previous videos. So you can just go through that again. I equal to 0, I less than 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So up to 4 elements we can accept. Then I plus plus, then printf, enter A. Now this will be printed as it is. Now since I have written a percentage %d, this also we have done formatted input output. Then I. So whatever value of I is 0. So like enter A of 0. So enter A of 0. So you will see here A of 0. Now scanf. So here I have entered 11. So this indicates A of 0 is 11 because your value of I is 0. Increment I. Check I becomes 1. Is 1 less than 5? Yes. Go for the next value. Say 22. Again increment I becomes 2. 2 less than 5? Yes. Then 3, yes. 4, yes. 5, 5 less than 5, no, condition false. So the next step, it comes out of the loop. So next statement is print elements. So this, and again for loop for displaying. So for I equal to 0, I less than 5, just print the values AR of I. So whatever the values that I have accepted as an input, that is 11, 22, 34, 4 and 34, the same values are printed here. This is an example of an one-dimensional array. Next, for two-dimensional array, what I'm doing here is directly assigning the values, that is A of 5 comma 2, that is 5 and 2. So it indicates 5 rows and 2 columns. So see, we can see here we have values like 5, 2 columns. So we have 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row and 5 row. Again, since we have two values, that is x and y, that is rows and columns, so we will require two loop variables, that is I and j. So for I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. So first your outer for loop will be for the row, so that's why condition is 5. Inner row will be for inner for loop will be for your column, so that's why j equal to 0, j less than 2. So condition for column, then print this value A of ij, means A of whatever the value of ij. So initially it is 0 0, so it will print A of 0 0. If then j becomes 1, so A of 0 1. So it will continue to access all the records, and then since we have written integer main, return 0. So output, so A of 0 0, A of 0 1, then j becomes 2, condition is false, so it will come out, it will increment I. So 1 0, 1 1, 2 0, 2 1, 3 0, 3 1, 4 0, 4 1. So after this, your loop for the I also condition becomes false, so it comes out of the loop. These are the references that I have used to cover this topic. If you have any doubts, you can contact me here. Thank you.